Welcome. It is 5 o'clock. We are in the Bosch Freilich room. It's January 21st, 2025. Mr. Dubauer, could you please take the roll?
Commissioners Heinchan.
Here.
Braun.
Here.
Rohr.
Here.
Schoberg.
Here.
Mayor Freilich.
Here. Now we will have Greg Welch, our City Finance Director, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Greg.
Passed.
We have one announcement. There will be a public input meeting for the downtown street improvement phase 1 on Monday, February 3rd in the Morton Mandan Public Library community room. That would be what time, Jarek?
I do have a graphic up on the screen if you wouldn't mind showing that. It
Sure.
is from 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay, can you explain that somewhat?
What was that?
Can you explain your graphic just a bit?
This is a graphic that shows in red that's the phase 1 kind of project boundary, or in orange is the project boundary. Phase 1 is kind of the proposed assessment boundary. And then shown in blue are what we're kind of guessing future phases and assessment boundaries might look like.
Okay, so it's 5 o'clock to 7,
At the
community
Morton Mandan
room,
Public
Mandan, at the library. Monday, February 3rd. Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, you reviewed the agenda. Could I have...
Approve the agenda for January 21st, 2025.
Second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rohr, second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion regarding the agenda? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Braun.
Yes.
Rohr.
Yes.
Schoberg.
Yes.
Heinchan.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Consider approval of the board minutes of the January 7th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll move to approve the January 7th. Those regular meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rohr, second by Commissioner Braun. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Rohr.
Yes.
Schoberg.
Yes.
Heinchan.
Yes.
Braun.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Consider approval of the January 14th, 2025 special meeting working session.
Move to,
I'll make a motion to approve the January 14th special meeting working session.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schoberg, second by Commissioner Braun. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Schoberg.
Yes.
Heinchan.
Yes.
Braun. Yes. Rohr.
yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Motion passes. On to public hearing. Consider a preliminary plat for the Heart River Women's Transformational Center addition. Andrew?
Good evening, Mayor Freilich and Commissioners. Allow me one moment here to pull up the agenda packet. HRWTC addition is a request from the State of North Dakota Corrections Department. As I believe you're all well aware, they are pursuing the property to the west of the Youth Corrections Center for the construction of the new Women's Transformational Center, which is essentially it's a prison for the female population on the YCC campus. Just give me one moment here. Just need to pull up the agenda packet. Okay. Apologies for that. Didn't have the agenda pulled up here. The location is just to the west of Mandan here. I have the location map on the screen here. We do have this in our public land use category for future land use, and a mix of ag and MC industrial zoning on the property, which will be streamlined and corrected with the final plat, getting that all into one district. With the details on the subdivision, it's one lot in one block. The plat encompasses all of 86.9 acres and currently is 3 lots. It's going to become 1. It has some buildings from the Youth Correction Center on it, and some of the campus is to the east of the subdivision. The land uses in the area, really no major changes proposed. We have industrial to the north and slightly to the west. The USDA facility is to the south and the city is to the east. We are recommending approval of HRWTC addition. A couple things to note. The city does have yet to approve a utility servicing plan for this subdivision. Back in, I believe, June of this year, this board did approve the contingent annexation of this property, and that was done in an effort to sort of determine which jurisdiction the site was in, as it did straddle the city and county line. We will be serving it with municipal utilities, and like I said, have yet to approve a utility servicing plan, given our interest in that. We do also need a zone change on that one portion of the property that's in the industrial district, as a single property can't have more than one distinction. With that said, our recommendation is to approve HRWTC addition with the conditions of the utility servicing plan being approved and the zone change taking place. Do you have any questions for me?
Mayor Randall, this entirety is within city limits, right? It's not on an extraterritorial.
Mayor Freilich, Commissioner Rohr. Commissioner Rohr, yes, the city did approve annexation of this property. The annexation has not fully happened yet, but it will with this project.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, this is essentially then a housekeeping issue.
Mayor Freilich, Commissioner Schoberg, in a way, yes, it's part of the preparation for the development of the Women's Center. Yeah, so cleaning up the land and preparing it for construction, yes. The parcel background, yep.
Any further questions for Andrew? Hearing none, we will open the public hearing at this point. If there's anyone that would like to speak regarding this issue. None. Second call for public comments.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is Jordan Singer, building official. I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you with this site and the groundbreaking and all the work that Andrew's doing with the preliminary plat, we have received the building permit for this these separate structures, I should say, but this complex. They're planning, and just for the public's knowledge, to start and hope to start in April of this year. So I mention it, and I am up here, not usually on a public hearing, but this is a big deal. There's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts that are with this, not only facility, but this site and what it's going to bring to the city of Mandan. So just throwing it out there. It's coming, and it's going to be this spring. So.
What's the cost of the project, Jordan?
We haven't had a final number. I know Chris is online with the state with that yet. We're still working the details on that, but a lot of dollars. Chris?
Current funding level for the project's $161 million. We are in the process of asking the North Dakota legislature to add about $5.6 million to that amount, but then that would be the total project amount.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Chris. Any other comments? Third call. Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. We will need a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Heart River Transformational Women's Center.
I will move to approve the preliminary plat for the Heart River Transitional Women's Center addition with the conditions presented by the staff.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun. Yes. Rohr.
Yes.
Schoberg.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Commissioners, you have the consent agenda in front of you. Are there any items you would like to hold, or do you want to approve as is?
Mayor, fellow commissioners, may I pull item number 5, please?
5 it is. Any other items? With that,
Mayor, with this request, then I make a motion to approve consent items 1 through 4.
Second.
okay, we have a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 4 by Commissioner Rohr, a second by Commissioner Braun. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Braun.
Yes.
Rohr.
Yes.
Schoberg.
Yes.
Heinchan.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Jordan, consider the 2025 budget amendment for the building inspections.
Yes. So this budget amendment deals specifically with the item we just discussed, the Heart River Women's Transformational Center. Deals strictly with that and the fact that we needed some outside help in our plan review, which is currently happening right now. So we've hired a consultant to help us with that. The funds that come from our building permit will go directly to the consultant for help with that plan review and that service. We're talking about a pretty significant site, as you just saw in the preliminary plat. I don't remember the total square footage, but there are 2 extra buildings on this site. There's an apartment building, a main complex, and another factory site, all within this complex. So a lot of different variables, a lot of different things, and then just the I classification, as we call it in the building codes, that would be the institutional. There's a lot of different categories and things that come up, and we just want to make sure we get it right. And by doing that, had the foresight to hire and have help with the plan review of that facility. So that's what that budget amendment is for.
Jordan, did the city commission approve something in June of 24 regarding this, or maybe it was July?
We, I believe, approved the request for qualifications for that, to send that out, but not the actual budget piece of this.
So the firm that you're hiring, how many institutions have you inspected? How many prisons have you participated in?
I helped out with the inspections in Bismarck for the state pen when I was in Bismarck, but other than that, none other.
Right. So that's my point. Yeah. This isn't normal building inspections for the city of Mandan, so we need another level of eyes.
Correct, Mayor
to
Freilich.
Make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, and they've Mayor Freilich, it's a local consultant that is here in Mandan, which is great. So we've had great communication with them so far. Working through some things. Like I said, we're right in the middle of it right now. So, and I know at the last meeting we had the approval of that contract, and that was it's not stated in here, but up to $80,000. So.
Okay. Any questions for Jordan?
Jordan? I'm the guy that pulled number 5, so I suppose I better ask you something, right? The building permits for this structure that the city will be receiving, I'm assuming, are quite significant. Is that correct?
Mayor Freilich, Commissioner Schoberg, yes, this is probably the biggest permit we've had to date that I know of. I said that about the high school, and now I'm eating my words. So,
I guess Administrator Neubauer, the $80,000 that was previously approved anyway could quite easily come out of those permit fees. Is that correct or not?
Mayor Freilich and Commissioner Schoberg, absolutely. Those building permit fees will cover the cost of this contract.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jordan.
and when I have a number, I will update you and let you know. Like I said, we're at the very beginning of it, and yeah, we'll have that number for you soon.
Thank you, Jordan.
Mayor Jordan, being you're right there, you're talking about permits. With the high school, there were stipulations on occupancy there, wasn't there? Where's that at right now?
Mayor Freilich, Commissioner Rohr, we are in a temporary certificate of occupancy until the building is completely finished. They are currently occupying it, have school in it. All the safety, life safety, and other things are currently where they need to be. The areas that are unfinished, which currently would be the auditorium, is closed off to the public until they finish that, until the building is complete, and we've done a entire walkthrough. I'm predicting that we'll be giving that probably in April. So, but they're operating under temporary occupancy, which is permitted by code, and
But they should be finished before the end of the school year for this.
I hope so.
Okay. That's all I had.
Any other questions? Hearing none, could I get a motion?
I'll move to approve the 2025 budget amendment for building inspections of up to $80,000 and no cents.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. On to new business. Consider allowing the fire department to enter into a contract with Pierce Manufacturing for the purchase of a new fire engine to be delivered in 2029. Fire Chief Bitts.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you mentioned, this is a request for permission for the fire department to enter into a contract to order a new fire engine as part of our budget process, the 2025 preparation budget, or in preparation for the 2025 budget, we identified the need to replace the fire engine that's assigned to fire station number 2. That's next up for replacement. That truck that's being replaced is a 2016 engine that's on frontline service, and given the fact that our trucks are about 4 to 5 years out on build time, we need to order that truck now in order to replace it in 2029. The industry standard is about 10 to maybe 12 to 15 years of frontline service on a fire engine, so we'll be approaching that in that time frame. The truck that's been in service since 2016, we're starting to the rule is starting to hold true. We're starting to experience a lot of very expensive major repairs. As a point of reference, we've stuck about $80,000 into this truck, and $76,000 of that was within the last 5 years. So as the truck ages, it's important that we, one, stay on top of the maintenance, but two, start planning for its replacement as we get closer and closer to that 2029, 2030 mark.
Mayor, Chief Bitts, with that far out a purchase, is there any kind of agreement as to whether or not the price I quote you now is going to be escalated quite a bit, or is it a locked-in price, or how does that work out in the long term when you're making this kind of purchase in this day of inflation and uncertainty 3 to 5 years down the road?
Sure. Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Rohr, excellent question. If we commit to this price today, this price is locked, provided that there's no changes in how we lay the truck out. Each truck is custom to, it's a custom build from the ground up. So, and what I mean by that is, we'll lock the price as it's designed today, which we have a very confident or high degree of confidence that this truck is set up where we need it to be. But as we get closer to the build time, 4 years from now, if for some reason our response model changes, we have to start carrying different tools or a different piece of equipment that we didn't plan for. If we needed to add compartments or take away compartments, then that price may be subject to change. So there's a little bit of chance that it could change, but it's very unlikely. And as an example of something that might change, you think, well, fire department, what could change? When I started on the fire department, there was no such thing as ballistic protection for firefighters, and now we just ordered new ballistic protection for our firefighters. So now we have to find a compartment to put those in and store them properly. And so things are always changing. So that's the only thing that might change is if our response model would change or where we place that truck. Currently, it's scheduled to go to Station 2, and we feel confident that we have it set up for that. But I don't have a crystal ball, so that's why I say that there's always a subject to change. But hope that answers
It
your
is a
question.
contract type of thing you sign that. It is a contract, isn't it?
Yep.
Agreement to meet
Mayor.
those specifications and prices?
Mayor Freilich, Commissioners, Commissioner Rohr, correct. It is a contract, so as long as we don't change, the contract price won't change.
Okay. Thank you.
Chief Bitts, in our data that we have here in the packet, there's an indication that, it says, I'll read it, it says the new fire engine will be purchased using the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. I believe it was our last commission meeting. Director of Public Works, Shane, told us that a similar program was used to purchase a new snow blower for the city at a significant savings. I'm assuming that same thing holds true here. It will be less expensive going through a group purchasing agreement.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Schoberg. So the cooperative purchasing agreement, many cities across the country and locally use them. We've used them before to make purchases, as you mentioned, as a city of Mandan. But so those pieces of equipment are publicly bid through a cooperative purchasing agreement. So manufacturers are pricing their equipment based on large scale contracts that the Sourcewell group puts together for other municipalities to purchase off of. It's very similar to purchasing off of like state bid or something like that. So yes, we do anticipate a fair price using the Sourcewell.
Okay, thank you.
Chief Betts, a couple things. I would imagine there's not a whole lot of manufacturers of fire trucks. I'm just curious, like, is it, is Pierce, do we have some of their current models in our fleet, or is this a new, is there different models that you can pick from different companies across the country? And second is, who does the maintenance work on the fire trucks?
Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Heinshan. So the first part of the question is how many truck manufacturers are there? And there's a handful, 5 at best probably. And they're so each, like I said earlier, each department is so how they respond is so much different depending on department to department. And there's a lot of complexities that go into the truck manufacturing. So they're not mass assembled like a normal automobile is. And so the truck that we'd be purchasing is a Pierce, and we have one Pierce in service right now, and then we have another Pierce that'll be delivered in 2026 to replace the engine in the downtown Station 1 station. And then we also have E1 is another manufacturer that we have in our fleet. Pierce is very reputable. They're built in Wisconsin, and a very good truck, long-lasting truck manufacturer. And to your second question is who does the maintenance? Our firefighters do the minimum maintenance every week. We do a weekly check on it, and daily they do daily checks. Minor maintenance, light bulbs and stuff like that, we'll do ourselves. We also coordinate with Public Works. There are 2 service technicians for any moderate to major work, and if it's really major, depending on Public Works' schedule, we'll take it to a vendor like a Cummins dealership in Bismarck. Or there are times when they have to go back to the actual manufacturing plant, depending on what the repair is. So majority of it is done in-house, though, as much as we can.
Chief Bitts, what's the oldest running engine we have in the fleet? Maybe you mentioned that to start off with.
Yeah, so Mayor, Commissioners, right now our ladder truck is a 2004. So that's 21 years old today as we speak. And it's still a good truck and it runs good. The problem we're starting to run into is to get parts for those trucks is very difficult as it continues to age, because they are so specialized that they didn't mass produce parts when they build them.
Okay.
Things haven't changed. I was in the fire department back in '65, and the oldest truck they had there was 27 years old.
I see there's a prepayment option, and maybe you or Greg could speak on that, whether it's fiscally sound for us to take advantage of the prepayment option.
I'll defer to Finance Director Welch.
Mayor, Commissioners, in order to determine if the discount is financially beneficial for the city to consider, Finance Department took the sales price of the apparatus of $1.1 million, and assuming a 4% investment rate currently for 12 months, and then year 2, year 3, year 4, during the purchase contract, we assumed a 2% rate of return, which would compound year after year. And so when you calculate that compound interest over 4 years with those investment assumptions, we arrive at an interest accumulation of $120,574, which would exceed the value of the discount. So it would be the recommendation of the Finance Department to not consider the full prepayment in order to receive the $115,000 discount. It would be more beneficial for the city to keep that money and invest it over that 4-year period instead.
Very good. Thank you, Greg. Any further questions for Chief Bitts?
Chief Bitts, would you have any way of knowing how much the engine that we were planning on replacing or keeping in as a standby unit, when was that purchased?
Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Schoberg, I believe it was 2016 or 2017.
Do you have any idea maybe how much that one cost back then?
Mayor, Commissioners, and Commissioner Schoberg, I would estimate it was $500,000 to $600,000. So that gives you an idea of the scale that the price increases that we've incurred as a fire department, as a city. This next truck that we're replacing it with, as mentioned, is $1.2 million approximately for a very similar truck. So
We bought a brand spanking new 1974 Pierce pumper at the fire department I was with in Wisconsin, and that was $62,000. So the price, 911 really did a number on emergency services equipment and went through the roof, So there's not much that anybody's going to do about that upward spiral, at least based on my historic experience in helping put together bids for fire apparatus. It's just absolutely crazy. But there it is. It is what it is. Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to allow the fire department to enter into a contract with Pierce Manufacturing for the purchase of a new fire engine, to be delivered in 2029.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Braun. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Item number 2 under new business, consider application to the 2025 RAISE grant for the Mandan Proper Revitalization Project. Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners, I do have a presentation here prepared. We just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the RAISE grant application that we've been working on. We first kind of approached the commission or commissioners and staff about the prospect of making a RAISE grant application in November. And so we've been working on it for about 2 months, and I just wanted to show you where we're at. RAISE is the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity grant program. This is administered through the U.S. Department of Transportation. This is a discretionary federal grant program that used to be called BUILD, and before that was called TIGER. I believe that the city has applied for a TIGER grant in the past, but little background there. The RAISE grant has $1.5 billion annually to give out for the years 2022 through 2026. This application being 2025. If we were not successful, we would have another opportunity to apply next year. If we were successful, we would also have another opportunity to apply next year for a different project. So we're gonna keep our eye on this one. It's a very competitive grant. The estimate that we've heard is about 1 in 10 receive an award, and the maximum grant award that we've seen through our research is $25 million. We don't see that listed in the NOFO, or in the Notice of Funding Opportunity, but we went and looked through a bunch of historic RAISE grant awards. $25 million was always the cap. RAISE has specific objectives that we've tried to focus on, to invest in surface transportation that will have significant local or regional impact, to address the Department of Transportation's strategic goals, improve safety, economic strength, equity, sustainability. There's a few other ones that the department has listed that we have included in our application, and projects that impact the entire project area, or the entire project area, benefit to the entire project area. Why RAISE? We've, as a department, we've been researching grant opportunities, and we kind of landed on RAISE through 3 parallel efforts. One of those efforts was our 2024 Safe Routes to Services study. Participating in this BizMan MPO study helped us identify where some of our disadvantaged communities might be at, what some strategies to aid those disadvantaged communities might be, and really just got us in contact with a lot of people with a lot of good ideas of how to improve our communities. The 2024 Project Concept Report, we've been working on this kind of iteratively, identifying areas around town that need some TLC, and actually defining that, putting a scope to it, putting a price to it, and being able to have actionable recommendations and actionable information to make decisions with. And then the third one was the city's involvement with RCI, and this is the Reconnecting Communities Institute. This is something that Riley had found. This is an initiative by the federal government, once again, that deals with communities that have been divided by man-made infrastructure. Mandan is a really good example of a community like that. We have the interstate going through town. We have the railroad going through town. We have topography that has made our infrastructure T intersections and cul-de-sacs, and it's a really good program for Mandan. RCI has granted us access to some RAISE grant webinars that we've participated in. It put us in contact with some people who have written many successful RAISE grants that we could have one-on-one conversations with. So these were 3 efforts that we arrived at RAISE through. Mandan proper is the project that we ended up identifying as a good candidate for a RAISE application. This was once again based on 3 criteria. Mandan proper is very close to Mandan's highest concentration of disadvantaged community indicators. Bismarck Mandan doesn't have disadvantaged community by definition, by the Census Bureau's definition, but the indicators that drive that definition are still measured, and in the Bismarck Mandan area, the area just north of the project is in the top 25% of all the indicators in our area. So if there's a disadvantaged community in the Bismarck Mandan area, it's right here. We have measured gap in bicycle and pedestrian usage in the area. This was through our 2024 Safe Routes to Services study. They used, I think, cell phone information to measure how often people are walking around in these areas and how often people are biking through these areas. And we have a very noticeable gap in the data in this neighborhood. And our third reason to focus on Mandan proper was its proximity to the Mandan Job Center, that being downtown. Our focus of our application is connecting the disadvantaged community to the north with public transit. There are 2 transit stops within here, and then 2 job centers to the south. Project elements. Mandan proper has got a lot of underground utility issues, cast iron water main replacements, dire need of street reconstruction, we're going to try and install strategic ADA compliant routes. That's American Disabilities Act. We'll make improvements to transit access with this project, and we'll try to implement complete streets, which was a strategy outlined in our Safe Routes to Services study.
Jarek,
Yes.
could you go back and explain what that is a picture of there? It's strapped down to the boards.
Pictured to the right there is a picture that our Public Works Department sent us. This is a cast iron water main strapped to a truck bed, and this is something that the Public Works Department has to deal with.
That is
all the time.
a water main, and although we have some of the best drinking water in the state through our water intake and water filtration plant, that water still has to go through those pipes to get to people's homes.
Mayor, Commissioner, correct.
I don't want that water in my house. That's terrible.
Yes, absolutely a need there. Cast iron water main, about 15,000 feet of water main will be replaced as part of this project. Shown in red are the cast iron water main pipes in the image over here. There have been 36 water main breaks since 2015, and 80% of those have been in the last 5 years. So this is another hot spot for cast iron water main breaks.
Jarek, what's the cost per break
Here, let me.
to the city?
It is $11,000, $11,700, $12,000, probably up to $15,000 in some instances. Yeah.
So that picture on the lower left there, that's also a water main?
That is also a cast iron water main. I don't know if that one is one of ours or not, for sure. Riley was the one who put this presentation together.
Yeah, well, I got a piece of something like that at home, and that's pretty disgusting.
As far as street reconstruction goes, there's 6 miles of road in the neighborhood, and 0.4 miles are not identified as a reconstruct. It's 93% of all the roads in this area are in need of a full reconstruct. You'll notice here, there's a green corner right here where we identified a chip seal might be appropriate. So the roads are in very bad condition there. Environmental impacts. This neighborhood also has one of the biggest storm issues identified in our storm sewer master plan. We would establish curb lines, gutter lines. There's been overlay after overlay after overlay stacked on top of each other in some areas of this neighborhood, and we would be looking to start fresh, start new, reestablish drainage patterns, and get the water where it needs to go. Alluded to, kind of skip forward to this slide here a bit earlier. We asked for estimates from Public Works, how much money they spend a year to keep this neighborhood in poor condition, and they spend about $30,000 in asphalt per year, asphalt patching, just to get by, just to keep it as rough as it is. And then we're estimating, based on 3.6 breaks a year, about $42,000 in water main repairs. Once again, this is $42,000 a year to keep it in poor condition. So, In our 2024 project concept report, it's a 4-phase project, and there are about 540 parcels in those 4 phases. If you average out the cost of the assessments with city utility investments and DWR investments and municipal infrastructure buy down, it was going to be about $40,000 per resident over a 15-year period. And this translates to approximately $2,800 per year for 15 years. With the RAISE grant, total project cost is about $34 million. We would invest the same amount of municipal infrastructure funds, the same amount of utility funds. We would get $25 million, hopefully, and our average special assessment would be $0 at that point. The goal of the project is to keep these properties unencumbered with special assessments. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them, but the motion that we're looking for today is basically just approval to submit the application and allocation of funds if we are awarded the grant.
Jarek, did you have a photo of Mandan proper?
Is this a good photo, or is this what you're looking for? Photo. I probably have someone
Up somewhat?
buried and blow this up.
Yeah. Just, there you go. Just to show some better reference so everybody at home knows. So give some reference. What do we got? Over to Collins and over, it's between Collins and 6th?
Between Collins and 6th, and then 2nd Street is included on the south end, and it's up to Division not included.
Mayor Jake, what's the composition of the pipe you're replacing the iron pipe with? What's the composition of it? Plastic? I mean, is it what is it a lot better than the iron and it doesn't rust or, you know?
Mayor Commissioner, yes, we would be replacing it with PVC pipe, which has an estimated lifespan of 75 to 100 years. We haven't had issues throughout our system with PVC that was installed decades ago, but that's not to say something couldn't come up, but we've had very good luck with PVC.
Does a PCV pipe still get accumulations within it too that you have to go and clean out, or is it relatively non-accumulative?
Mayor Commissioner, not like cast iron. I think it does gain roughness over time, but not like cast iron.
Okay, be a good move then. Thank you.
What's the age of those pipes?
Mayor
I suppose
Commissioner.
it varies from 2nd up to Division, right?
Yes, it does vary a lot. I would guess in the 70-year, yeah, maybe more. 70-year range is probably what I would guess. We have it outlined in our report. I just don't have that number available right now.
Jarek, a couple questions. I want to commend Riley and yourself for digging in and finding these grants and plans or these different ways to get the research that you guys need to make a solid application. I appreciate that. A couple questions with the application, what you found in your research. Asking for the full 25 or asking for that 25 million. Did others ask for higher and they got cut off at 25, or does it behoove us to go to the 25 with hopes that we're going to maybe get less, or do we go higher? Have you looked at that? And then second question would be is, do we go out and get letters of support to put to our grant application from the Safe Routes plan or those other things that we've been part of? Do we get letters of application, I guess?
Mayor Commissioner, yes. We did look at if there was strategy around asking for less. We actually are eligible for 100% grant funding on this project. So if our project only cost $25 million, we would be eligible to apply for $25 million. So we aren't asking for, quote unquote, however you want to look at it, the full amount that we are eligible for. In Riley's conversations with folks and in what he's learned through attending webinars, The only factor that we need to focus on is having a benefit cost analysis greater than 1. That is basically it. That is all that matters as far as how much you're asking for goes. And since we're 100% eligible, we're just asking for the full amount, what we perceive as the full amount.
Sounds good.
And then, following up on your other question, we do have quite a few letters of support. Let me see if I can pull up a good letters. Yeah, we have, maybe don't have a good list here, but we have signed letters from Sacred Pipe Resource Center, Mandan Progress Organization, Dakota Center for Independent Living, Bisman Transit, Bolton and Mank, Aid Incorporated, Youth Works, and we're working on several others. We would love to get letters from local representatives and senators and anybody who we can kind of make our case to and try and garner support from.
Thank you.
Jarek, I think you did explain why this neighborhood is eligible, but I think those at home are probably wondering why their neighborhood isn't eligible and why they're going to have specials. So could you go slowly over this again?
Mayor Freilich, absolutely. And I think it's not as much about eligibility as it is about competitiveness. We could apply for a RAISE grant for any of the projects around town. The RAISE grant requires objective data to back up how your project meets the merit criteria that they are asking for projects to meet. Some of that is environmental justice, some of that is equity, sustainability, and stuff like that. We have a benefit of pulling some of that data from that 2024 Safe Routes to Services study, and everything really pointed toward this project. So it's a matter of competitiveness. We think that we have a higher chance of receiving an award by putting together a project that actually fits what the RAISE grant is trying to accomplish, rather than trying to fit a square peg in a round hole type, approach for just a project that we really want.
Jarek, I have spent more than a few hours driving around our beautiful city since December 1st of last year. In this particular area, I have literally been up one side and down the other of every avenue, street, and alley. I've also covered the older sections of Mandan proper, northeast, southeast, and southwest. And all I could do is urge some of our citizens to drive that northwest section of town, and I think they'll be appalled. You can go back in the history of Mandan and look at some pictures, and I mean, when you said asphalt upon asphalt upon asphalt, and basically bomb craters at every corner of street intersections, this has to be done. I mean, it's terrible. And if our citizens drive through those areas, I think they'll probably shouldn't go over 10 miles an hour. This is bad in that northwest section. The other sections aren't bad. I mean, the other sections pretty much all have the ADA compliant sidewalks, curb and gutters type thing. Because I was looking for specific things on a few of those little journeys, and especially when it comes to the ADA stuff, that northwest side is terrible, man. It's I don't know how anybody can get through there with a walker, and some of them even with a cane. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
So thank you for your initiative and your research. So I back you 100% on this.
Jarek, were the alleys included in this?
I would have to double check our cost estimate. I believe that we would have included alleys for our initial estimate, so that we would have the option to take them out. If we didn't evaluate them, it'd be hard to add them in.
Okay. Any more questions for Jarek? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to have the engineering department finalize grant application and allocate the funds should the grant be awarded to the city.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun.
Yes.
Rohr.
Yes.
Schober.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Item number 3 under new business, legislative update. Mr. Neubauer.
Mayor Freilich and commissioners provided you a list of some of the bills that we are currently tracking. It's an ever-changing list on a daily basis because there are several bills that were just what they call dropped or put into the system either yesterday or today. So I'll just go through touch on a couple of them. One of them would be House Bill 1176. You've probably read about that in the paper and heard about that on the news, which would provide a 3% cap on property taxes that municipalities or other entities could collect on a year-to-year basis. We did provide a letter or information to the House Finance and Tax Committee regarding what effect that may have on the city of Mandan if those caps were in place. Our concerns would be at 3%, I think the dollar amount was roughly $209,000 a year. Pretty tough to compete in the job market in Bismarck and Mandan if we're only able to adjust wages by 2 or 3% a year, depending on what your inflation rate might be. That example would be, I think, at 2%. If we gave a 2% cost of living increase to employees, it would be $171,000. That doesn't include pension increase. That doesn't include Social Security increase. That doesn't include health insurance increases. So it's a pretty minor amount. That is troublesome, but I think that ship is moving down the waterway fairly readily. They're talking with some folks last week. They've given it kind of a pause, say they haven't passed it and moved it out of committee yet, because I think the representatives are waiting for additional input to hear on that one. It would allow a community to go to a vote of the public if they wanted to increase above that 3% threshold for 1 year only. In case an emergency came up and there needed to be additional funds raised, that also we think is inadequate. Understanding what the state is trying to do with local taxes and things like that, fully get where they're coming from. It just becomes sometimes very difficult to work with under that manner. And also if we, Chief Bitts talked about a $1.2 million fire truck that will go on order probably tomorrow morning or tonight. Maybe at about 6 o'clock, that order is going to get signed and tossed their way. Fortunately, we have the half-cent sales tax that voters approved in June of 2024, and of that, 3 cents or 3/10 of that could be used for police, fire, buildings or equipment, and city hall accessibility needs. So there's some funding assistance with that. But if we look at hiring or if we look at funding a third fire station and manning that facility, becomes very problematic as we try and staff that over time. With the additional, I think we've got 2 firefighters for 2025, 2 positions hired, and that will leave us, I think, 3 short to fully staff Station 2 with, I think, 3 firefighters over a 24/7 period. So, like I said, the implications are pretty big. Like I said, that one may be moving down the road whether we like it or not. I think there was another bill that was dropped either today or yesterday about computing property tax on square footage. We haven't had a chance to dive into that one yet. several bills on homestead tax credit and definition of primary residence that our assessing department is wading through right now. Another bill of concern that just came up, House Bill 1552, would cap the local sales tax that could be put in place at, I think, a total of 3%. Therefore, if we had the inkling to fund a wastewater treatment plant in part with a 1% sales tax, we may go over that 3% cap, which again limits our ability to fund items that aren't out of the general fund. So those are just a few. Like I said, there are several that we are currently tracking. Some of the minor ones, such as introduced, I can't remember what the bill number was, but that your local elected bodies would have to be, or would be forced to put on their agenda every time a public comment period, which isn't really a problem, or hasn't been in the past, but some things like that cause us to change our operation similar down the road. So again, we will keep you informed as we move along, but again, things are changing fairly rapidly. Bills are being dropped in at a pretty good clip at this point in time. So if you have any questions, myself or any of our folks here would do our best to answer them. But again, things are moving fast, and property tax, I think, is, as you know, Governor Armstrong testified in favor of House Bill 1176, and it's rare to have a governor come down and testify in front of a committee, but he was there in full force and attempting to move this one along.
Thank you, Mr. Neubauer. Any questions for Jim? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no resolution and ordinances, and there is any other business before the commission? Seeing none, the future meeting dates for Board of City Commissioners are January 28th, 5:30 p.m. special meeting working session, February 4th, 5:30, which was the regular meeting, February 11th, 5:30 special meeting working session, and February 18th, 5 o'clock again, will be the regular City Commission meeting. As always, be nice to your neighbor, and it's onward and upward, Mandan. We are adjourned.